Etron Collectible fans, this is Fly Guy for TekSushi.com. Finishing off a pack of 3 reviews here. We've had a look already in this Arkham Origins 3-pack. We've looked at the Joker's Red Hood, Copperhead, and now we're going to look at Deathstroke Unmasked. That's the empty packaging. It's pretty straightforward and simple. Batman logo up at the top, and that. And on the back of this, we'll just give you a little sneak peek of the figures there. You can just see the 3 we've reviewed. And there's Deathstroke up at the top. So there's really not a great deal to show you in the packaging. It's pretty basic. We do some nice Batman shots, but that's it. So let's get a look at the figure. Now this is the unmasked version of Deathstroke. Now he has come out before. There's masked. Let me see if I can focus this a little better, just to try and show you the differences. Let's focus this a little sharper. So there's masked Deathstroke, and here is unmasked Deathstroke, and there is actually no difference in the armours and the bits and pieces that he's got at all. Nothing is different on this figure. So if you've got the previous version of Deathstroke, you may not want this pack. However, you do get this differently sculpted head, but he's still a great figure. Despite his DC Collectibles joint issues and problems with this one, it's still overall a great figure in my opinion, just because of the armour and all the bits and pieces that he comes with. Now mine came in the pack with 2 extra pistols. He's only supposed to come with 1, but let's get a look at that first weapon just to get a chance at looking through all these weapons kind of quickly. So it's a kind of weird gun that he comes with, but it does fit his holster that he's got on his side of his belt, which is a bit of a problem as well. It's a notoriously difficult thing to stay on, and I've seen a lot of these coming off pretty easily. It's barely held on with any glue whatsoever. So a very, very light holster. It hangs on there, and I guess the weight of the gun can often just make that thing kind of hang off there. So yeah, so there's been notoriously a lot of problems with these figures. The joins that DC Collectibles uses is a clear acrylic plastic which just snaps all the time. It cannot withstand the joins on the figures and the weight of them. It's a very poor choice of materials, but that's the way it is. So not only does this strap come off quite a lot, and you'll need a bit of super glue, which is very common for, but this, if you look at the sheath for the sword, is barely held on by anything whatsoever. Just a tiny little piece of glue which holds it on, so it very easily comes apart, even just taking out the packaging. It's a real pain in the butt. However, nice holster that it is, nicely done there with the studs and buttons all along it. It's got a nice weathered kind of look to it. The blade inside is rather nice. It's got a little hilt there for the finger which fits it beautifully, I should say. There we go. And a kind of black moulded piece down at the kind of handle grip, and the silver touch down at the bottom. But the blade looks particularly good, and up to a good sharp point. So yep, pretty nice. He also comes with this other staff, this other weapon. He basically beats the crap out of everybody with, and it's pretty simple and straightforward. Just a long thin piece of plastic, bit of silver in the middle, a heavier grip here, and a silver tip on either end, so for whacking the crap out of people's faces. Now that's pretty much it for the weapons. Let's get a look at the rest of the figure. Now one of the things before I do is a NECA stands. If you don't have them, the great stands fit DC Collectibles, which is pretty good because DC don't make stands. Now let's get a look at that face there, and it's pretty on the money. It looks particularly good. These were all sculpted by Gentle Giant from the digital sources of the files, so they basically lifted from the game design and then plumped these straight into effectively a gigantic 3D printer, I guess, and off they went. Now mine had a few little paint issues. I had to scrape a little bit of black paint off the top. You can still see a little splodge up at the top there on his head. However, considering some of the packs that I have seen, he does come with some pretty dodgy weathering on some versions of the figure. So this one's actually one of the best ones that I've seen. If you want to buy this pack, by the way, there's a link directly below here where you can go and pick this one up, because it's pretty hard to get anywhere these days for a reasonable price, and Amazon do have it in that link below, and they'll give you free shipping as well, so it's not a bad deal. Pretty hard to come by for a reasonable price, so yeah, don't pay too much money for this and buy the 3-pack, because you'll save some money, because this guy on his own sells for $30 plus. So the whole pack on Amazon is $40, so it's a pretty good price to get in there. So the figure itself, I can't even remember reviewing the previous one. If not, it just fell apart on me. A lot of these pieces are very easy to come apart. This shoulder pad, for example, is glued onto here. If you then move that too far back, you'll actually wedge that shoulder pad and it'll pop right off. So you have very limited articulation on this figure. However, from the top, what we do get is a very cool ball jointed head. It could have done with a little bit more elevation, considering it's just been swapped out from that masked head there, which fitted really well on that, but I think we could have used a bit more of a neck on this. It seems a little short on the head. However, we do get a fair range of movement, so not too bad at all. The arms, again, here you'll see they will rotate up, and they will obviously be on this ball joint here, but you're so limited. You just got to watch what you're doing. So the elbows have a joint there, as well as having a swivel on the bicep. So there's a fair bit of movement on here. On the wrist, we've got a swivel, and we've got that back and forth action going on too. So he's pretty well articulated in that front. At his torso, he's got a swivel torso. Now, it is held in place by these straps and pieces on the chest there, so there's only so much limited movement you can make. He's basically on one giant clear acrylic peg. I know because I've seen some of the damaged versions, so don't play with this too much. It's a little tough. But because of this, you can see that armour padding there. You can only move it so much, really, so you're very limited in terms of rotating the waist. Same with the legs. You can't move that armour too much because his thighs will stop up at the top. So it's a little bit redundant in that we have ball joints up there, but we also have these swivel thighs as well. So you can move that there. There are joints at the knees, and again, they're really crunchy, hard to move. Effectively, as I whack myself with it, it is a double joint, but you can't actually move it into a double joint because, lo and behold, the armour stops it at the back. So it's a little hard to get this. You could play around with this to get it to move, but again, joints are fragile. I wouldn't spend too much time on this. And down at the ankles, we do get, it's a little limited as well. There we go. One of the rarer completely swivel joints, which move pretty freely on the ankle there. So there's a fair bit of movement, which is pretty generous. And again, a peg hole down at the bottom. It's just a great looking figure overall, in my opinion. He's basically the Boba Fett of the DC universe to me. The mask, the weapons, the scoring, the colouring on this, the little armoury and the shoulder there, all the little bullets and buttons just look great for me. I absolutely adore that. Love the facial sculpt as well. It's really good looking, really well done. Captured very well by Gentle Giant, but it's all the canisters and it's all the armour. It's kind of like basically an Iron Man or a Boba Fett, as I said, so I just love it. So there you go, that is Deathstroke, a great looking figure in my opinion. Does have its flaws, but again, one of the better ones out there. Again, if you want to buy it, there's a link directly underneath, and if you like these reviews, then click subscribe and you'll get them straight into your inbox. That's it, stay tuned for some more reviews in TekSushi coming up soon. Cheers.